say?
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
Can't, it's broken! It's broken!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to Wednesday nights. That means it's SAFRL Tier 2. We did it all on Monday. We're here to do it all again. Season 7, Round 3. And we're at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Here we go, having some mechanics already coming out of the pits. That means we're going to see a car coming out of the pits, and it's Tylee Boy in the Mercedes. And in Mercedes related news, Kimi Antonelli could be coming to F1 a lot sooner than anyone could have ever thought. Big news around the paddock is that Logan Sargent could be replaced after Miami and replaced with Kimi Antonelli. Will be interesting for a driver that's only had 3 or 4 Formula 2 races, skipped Formula 3, but he has basically won every single seater he's competed in. Thanks for that, Andre. Just confirmation of a dry race throughout, dry session as well as the race, so we don't have to worry about weather mixing things up. If you want things mixed up, you're going to have to rely on safety cars. A lot of cars out on outlaps. 3 cars remain in the pits. That's Welsh, Spikes and Andries. Just have the 13 runners so far. Hopefully a few more will squeeze in before the end of qualifying. So welcome there to Etienne. Tylee Boy out on track. Skull out on track. Moller, all of those cars on their first quick lap. This is Skull in the Aston Martin. Good result for Aston Martin in qualifying at the last Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso always impressing. Predictions for pole position, a low 111. We'll see how close we get to that, or maybe even beyond. Quick drivers in the field, we may be surprised. I can tell you one thing, nobody's going quicker than Tier 1, because that would mean promotion to Tier 1. I think some of these guys like racing here. Andre, first race on medium. What was he running before? Cole went around and set a 12.0 Maggot 10.7. He has gone beyond the pole prediction on the first run for the Alpine driver. It's a 1:10.7, and that is pretty quick at this stage in the session. I expect laps to only tumble down. Cyber went second with an 11.2, Moller 3, 11.4, then Rockwell, Skull, Detoy, and Chums, the last of the timed cars. This is Tylee Boy, the other Mercedes. He may have got an invalidated lap because he's doing a second push lap. This is Essa. Thought he was getting awfully close to the wall, but that was just the internet. Don't get too excited. Also looking for his first lap time, as of 5 other drivers: Tiley Boy, Essa, Welsh, Acid Milk and Spikes, all yet to set a lap time. We just have the 13 runners. I think we can see a few still squeeze in. Look at that lap by Maggot for a first run of 1:10.7. Very impressive, throwing down the gauntlet, saying catch me if you can. We now have a McLaren P2, P3. Where is the other Alpine? The other Alpine remains in the pits. Welsh on an outlap, Spikes on an outlap. Tiley Boy looking for his first time lap. Those tyres aren't going to be at their best. It's been one run, so I'm sure he's got a lot more in that car. Needs a new fresh set of softs and a light fuel tank, and we're going to see a lot more from that car. This is Welsh in the AlphaTauri. How much longer will we be saying and seeing the AlphaTauri? Obviously when the new game arrives, I'm going to have to get used to saying RB, and I'm not calling it the V-Carb or whatever it is. It's just the RB. This is Welsh in the AlphaTauri. Still no lap time from the AlphaTauri / RB driver. This is Spikes also looking for that first timed lap. As the time ticks on, as the time remaining in qualifying gets shorter and shorter when you don't have that lap time, everything just becomes a little bit more difficult. You're feeling the pressure. Don't want to start at the rear of the field. You no longer have that ability to set a benchmark and then just improve as the session goes on. Cut yourself down for a few minutes, but Spikes doesn't have to worry much longer. He becomes the second man to go into the 110s. It's a 1:10.9, just 0.2 of a second. Well, yeah, 2.5 tenths of a second off the pace. Then we have the two McLarens on the second row. And as we say that, Cyber emerges from the pits. Tricky pit exit, this one, especially when you're trying to stay out of a car's way on a fast lap. Sometimes difficult to judge where that driver is. And sometimes I've seen drivers coming out of that pit exit and directly onto the line of somebody on a quick lap. It usually doesn't end well. Maggot, the quickest man, not at the moment. Right now he's the slowest man, going very slowly there, just letting the Alfa Romeo go by, winding up for another lap. Previous best. Oh, he's been disqualified. Maggot has been disqualified from the session. That means man with the quickest time is going to start from the rear of the field. That promotes Spikes into provisional pole. And now Rockwell retires from the session. In Spikes is now in P1, the McLarens P2 and 3 again. Moller P4, Skull P5, Toy in P6. Then we have Andres P7, Rockwell in P8, but he's not going to be able to improve because he's left. He's out the session. Then the two Mercedes, Tyler Boy and Chums, making up the top 10. And then we're still waiting for lap times from Welsh and Acid Milk. As for the other driver, got a DSQ. So apparently Maggot got that penalty. According the penalty was for blocking the pit exit, but we clearly saw he was not blocking the pit exit. We saw it on stream. We actually happened to have that live, and we saw him going awfully slowly, waiting for the quicker car to go by, but somehow that translated into a DSQ. But when you're dealing with F123, you should know by now. It can throw you a few surprises. Time's getting quicker and quicker. Cyber goes quicker. He goes now 10.4. Andres goes quicker, 10.6. Spikes with that 10.9 now only good enough for P3. Moller got awfully close. Not quite a 1010, not quite a 110. 111 flat. Then a 111.2 for Essa. Then a bit of a drop. 11.6 for Skull. 11.7 to Detoy. I think there'll only be 13 runners. Nobody's been able to join. Cyber comes back into the pits. In fact, the top 5 cars are in the pits. Speaking of the top 5, this is the next best. Currently in P6, Skull. Just getting out of the way. It's one of those circuits. Traffic has played a role in qualifying many times before. So easy for everybody just to bottleneck while trying to wind up for that final run. The drivers out there now, I think this will be their final run. As for all the cars you see there in the pits, they're leaving it a little bit later. Well, Skull comes into the pits, got a 1:11.6, so now the top 6 are all in the pits. He's going to have time to come back out. Toy P7, Tyler Boy and Chums. Chums about to start a quick lap. It's right on board with the Mercedes driver, currently in P10. Turn 1, turn 2. Just misses the apex a little bit. Technical circuit, nothing easy about it, and my favourite part about it is it's remained the same pretty much since I've watched F1. Except for in 1994 when a hideous temporary chicane was added to the back straight, and there was nothing pretty about that chicane. Chums not making that corner. This is Welsh, currently P11. So he did get a lap time down, but that was well, I think he must have backed out of that. think he realized there was just 3 minutes on the clock. Rather back out of the lap, come into the pits, put on some new rubber, have another go. Spikes comes into the pits, just 3 minutes remaining. He might be able to get out. Going to be very tight, and does he have another set of softs to do it? Or is he just going to accept that position and take an extra set of softs into the race? Depends how badly you want to start at the front. This is the second McLaren. He was just behind his team. He was just next to his teammate for a majority of the session, but then Cyber put in a stellar lap, 10.4. Went way ahead of his teammate. Now the gap between the two McLarens, 0.8 of a second. So S has come out of the pits looking to improve. Wants to get higher up that field. Cyber P1, Andres P2, Spikes P3, Moller P4, he's on an outlap. Essa P5, we're expecting a lap from him. See what the second McLaren can do. It's good enough for P3, it's a 1:10.8. Joins his teammate in the 1.10s. We got a lot more 110s than we were expecting. We predicted a 1:11.5 for qualifying, so I think we were a little off by a second. Some of these drivers doing everything they can to avoid tier 1 promotion, but these lap times, they're showing. Two Alfa Romeos also having a strong night. Two McLarens having a fantastic night so far, first and third, and then Alfa Romeo 5 and 6. Anything can happen on those opening laps. Don't necessarily need to be P1, P2. Start in that midfield and find yourself in the front very quickly. These races can be unpredictable. And if someone at the front gets turn 1 wrong, well, then things get really messy. Cyber out on track. Let's follow your provisional pole man, 10.4. On a new set of softs. Got over the line before the checkered flag, but as he backed out of that, checkered flag fallen, the checkered flag has fallen. There is Andres 10.6, caution, going to be going slowly. Andres comes into the pits, Essa off track, Spikes into the pits. I think that's the session for pretty much everyone. Where's Moller? 11-0. Can improve, comes into the pits. The toys are ready in the pits. That means there's only one man out on circuit. Is he looking for an improvement, or will he just peel into the pits? He does look for an improvement. Goes through the chicane, right next to the wall of champions. Goes over the line, and he left it late. 1:10.5 into P2. And Cyber, you have a challenger. What a qualifying session. AlphaTauri leaving it so late. We were predicting a 1:11.5 for a pole time. That would have been good enough for P9. So definitely not what we predicted. And the top 5 all in the 1:10s. Very impressive lap times here in tier 2. there's your official qualifying results. Cyber takes pole position with a 1:10.4 impressive lap time. Then Welsh almost got him right at the end, left it really late, 10.5. So that's your front row, Cyber and Welsh. Then they're going to be followed by Andries and Essa in P3 and 4, Spikes and Moller, Skull, the Toy, Rukwa, Chums, making up the top 10. Then we've got Tylee Boy, Acid Milk, and Maggot, who at the time was the quickest man on track. Then got DSQ'd, which means straight to the back of the field. He's going to be starting from P13. And will you look at that? Two Alpines are the two last cars. That's what you call realism. We're back at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and we're back in the pit lane. See, now you can basically just see the cars on the right hand side of your screen. They're all lined up on the grid, ready to go. Those drivers will now just be making final adjustments to their strategy. A little bit of decision making when it comes to fuel. Do you underfuel in anticipation of safety cars? But if those safety cars don't come, difficult times will await you later on. It's all a bit of a roll of the dice. And if you get it right, and you're quick, you'll be on the podium. But if you roll the dice and it lands wrong, things could go very wrong. 5 red lights, they are out, we're underway. McLaren versus AlphaTauri into turn 1. Looks like the AlphaTauri's got the nose in front, but the McLaren's got the inside line. Alpine comes back at him into turn 2, and it's going to be the Alpine in front. Welsh leads the way from Cyber, then his teammate Essa making up a few positions at the start of the race. Andries P4, Moller P5. They're followed by Rukwa, the Toy in P7. Then we have the two Aston Martins, P8, P9, that's Skull and Spikes. The Alpine of Maggot, who was starting in P13, he's already up into P10, he's on the move. The two Mercedes out the points, that's Tylee Boy and Chums, P11 and 12. And then Acid Milk at the rear of the field. Ooh, I was just about to say not much action at the front, but I think we just saw one of those McLarens ghosting. Yes, it is. There's the confirmation. That's Cyber. Cyber was the quicker of the two McLarens. He's now ghosting. Teammate just got past him, and hopefully he can get back in that car, get back in the lobby, take control of that car, because this is a quick field and they're going to come through that ghost cov in no time at all. Welsh goes over the line for the first lap. Essa in P2, he's 0.8 of a second behind. He's lost his teammate. His teammate is now fallen to P4, hoping that he can regain control of that car. Then we have the two Alfa Romeos, Moller and Toy, P5 and 6, Rukwa P7. Mercedes has been able to get back into the points. That's Tylee Boy in P9. We saw just a lap ago both Mercedes out the points. Now Tylee Boy clawing his way back, trying to get his way up the field. Toy and Maggot trading places. And for now the Toy stays ahead in P6. There is the ghost car of the McLaren. I can confidently say that Cyber is doing everything he can to get back into that car, but he's already dropped to P7. We haven't spoken about this man enough. Maggot. Maggot has now gone through that McLaren. He's now up into P6. Remember, he started P13, so definitely driver of the day so far. Lots of positions. And, well, lap 3. That's how long it took. It took 3 laps. And we got the first one. Folks, we're under safety car. So we're in a safety car on lap 3 of 35. It's not really a safety car you can make too much use of. See a safety car in the middle of the race, safety car towards the end of the race, can really mix things up. When you have a safety car this early on, pretty much everyone in the field is just going to stay out there, hold on to track position, unless we have a bunch of cars on softs. Might be a good opportunity to get rid of those tires. But as you can see from the graphic, no one is on softs. Actually, Tiley Boy and Acid Milk did make use of that safety car. They came into the pits, they got a fresh set of hards. So when we do get going, they'll be at the rear of the field. Brand new tires, and with 30 plus laps to go, wonder how far they intend on going on those hards. Maybe finishing on a soft. Maybe it's in anticipation or in the hope of a later safety car. Question: how long does the safety car last? Alpine is at the back of the field, but he's not too far back. We'll catch this lap, but the safety car is definitely staying out. Goes through the chicane. It'll be quite amusing to see the safety car hit the wall of champions. Skull has left the session. So that means we have another car ghosting on circuit. Luckily, just the 2 cars behind him. Problem with a ghost car in front of you under safety car is you can't pass him. As well as you can't pass him till the start finish line at the restart. It's just like a regular car. So if that ghost car gets a terrible restart, well, you have to sit behind it. Where is the other ghost car of Cyber? Let's just see, is that car back under control? Yes, it is. Cyber back in the McLaren. That's what we want to see. And a little bit of saving grace for him is this safety car. So we said early safety cars were useless. Well, they're not always useless. Cyber was falling down the field, and that safety car may have just given him the extra time he needed. Get back in the car, get his composure right, and now get ready for a restart, because the safety car is pulling off into the distance. And that means moments from now, it's going to be Welsh leading the way from Essa into turn 1. More importantly, who's going to come out of that corner first? Essa, the McLaren, just jumping a little bit right alongside the Alpha Tauri, Mola P3, Detroit P4. Those are the 2 Alfa Romeos having a good evening so far. What a result that would be. Pretty straightforward. Ooh, and as I say, a pretty straightforward start. I shouldn't have said that. We've got a, what was that, a Mercedes? That was a Mercedes. It was Mercedes of Chums going wide off the track. I think we may have also seen some carbon fiber coming off that car. So Welsh leads the way. Now Welsh, thought he ran wide, but he did not. There is Welsh. He is just in front of Essa. Then we have Moller P3. Wants to stay in contact with those two. Doesn't want to let them get up the road. Still waiting for DRS. Remember, lap 3 DRS becomes available, but on lap 3 we got a safety car. So we're still waiting for our first experience of DRS here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Welsh loses the lead. Essa now in front. Two McLarens. Was going to say having a fantastic evening, but the second McLaren, he'll be doing a bit of work. Bit of a recovery drive. And we're under safety car. We're under safety car yet again. We had one on lap 3, we now have one on lap 7. We've lost a driver, we've lost Tylee Boy. First safety car, we lost Andres. So we've lost the Mercedes, we've lost the Ferrari, two major manufacturers. And we're down to 11 drivers. So pretty much for the odd one out, everyone else just needs to finish this race. Can go home with some points tonight. Two drivers very early on losing their way and finding themselves in the DNF column. Hopefully they'll join the comment section, give us some insight into what occurred. Wonder if that was the Mercedes of Tylee Boy running wide, but I'm pretty sure it was Chums. So let's just have a look at that Mercedes. Does it look okay? It does look okay. Don't see any damage on the front wing. But that Mercedes definitely did go off the circuit. So Mercedes, they're looking pretty good in the early stages, making up 1 or 2 positions. They have now gone one car in the DNF, the other car holding on to the last available point. Said earlier that a early safety car is useless. Will anybody be doing anything with this safety car? A bait of 35. Looks like everybody stayed out. Remember, everyone's on a set of mediums or on a set of hards. And I think we have a problem. Folks, apologies for that. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. Well, there we go. I have no idea what this is. There we go. I didn't see it. Red flag, apparently. Was that just me? Was I looking away from the screen for a second? I didn't see any sort of red flag. But, here we go. Screen cuts to black. And what I can tell you is in all the races I've ever commentated on, all the races I've ever driven on in F123, I had never seen a red flag. Something they advertised in the trailer. But in the last 3 races on this channel, we've had 2 red flags. We had a red flag on Sunday, and now we've got another red flag. But I don't know what's going on. Guys, I'm just going to pause my mic for a second, and I'm going to just try and figure out what's going on here. If anybody knows what's going on, let me know in the comment section. But I want to know if the race is still going on or if this is just something from my side. Just let me know. Seems like cars are still leaving the session. I'll be back with you guys shortly. Okay, so thanks for staying with us. Seems like we had a major lobby issue. I'm not sure what that was, but looks like we're gonna get going again. We're gonna have a 35% race, and just bear with us. And sorry for the interruption. We should be back underway shortly. Apparently a new lobby is in the process of being created, and a 35% race. Don't know what is the arrangement for the starting grid, if it's going to be a custom grid back to what qualifying was. I presume that would be the case. That was one of the strangest things I've seen on a stream. Everything just disappeared, came back, said red flag for a moment, and then disappeared again. F123, it's going to surprise us till the end. If you're waiting for the restart patiently, I have been trying to upload some other F1 related content to the channel. At least I'm trying. So if you're bored, you can have a look around the channel. All the videos are pretty short. They range between probably a minute and 3 minutes. So you could probably squeeze one in, one or two. So if you're feeling bored, if you're waiting for the race to start, have a look around the channel, leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. In fact, it's the only subscription that doesn't cost you a cent. I mean, I wouldn't mind if I was getting Netflix fees, but
God, it's broken! It's broken!
Here we go, seems like we're back in business. We're in a lobby, we're just now waiting for everybody and waiting for everybody to ready up, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, so to everyone who's still watching, what do you guys make of it? 35% race, maybe something a little different. Strategies change at all? Obviously all of these guys will have had an opportunity to start this race already, so if you started the race on a particular compound and really didn't like how it felt, you do get an opportunity to change that now. Go with something else. Now we just await to get underway. Back again. So it gives a few of those drivers, we saw a few drivers ghosting, gives all of those drivers an opportunity to have another go. It was a bit of a messy race before the lobby crashed. We had those two safety cars. Almost got no DRS time at all. And at that point in the race, drivers had spent more time behind the safety car than they had been doing quick laps. Hey Skull, what's happening? You ready to go again? That was a real interesting lobby. For a second I thought we had a red flag and we'd be getting going again, but yeah, that was very odd. What do you guys make of it for the race? Are we going to see different strategies? Guys going to try something different, or are we going to see more of the same? Everyone going to go with what they initially planned? Obviously this sort of situation could mix things up a little bit. Drivers who got it wrong first time round, they get another chance. They know exactly what they did wrong the first time. That's obviously the thing they need to avoid most. Skull says he's not ready to go again. Well, you better hurry up then. Imagine, just before the start of the race, Formula 1 driver sitting in the cockpit of his car, on the grid, waiting to get going, and his engineer has to say, "Pass me the phone. You can't keep the phone." It's in the YouTube chat. Getting ready for the race. Love it. Viewers are falling. That's not good. The viewers are falling. It means people are getting tired of waiting. Let's go. We're all waiting for this race to begin. Obviously our evening started at 8:15. We're now almost an hour into our evening. The race is yet to get going. It's going to be a slightly longer stream than usual. It's nothing as bad as trying to commentate on an endurance race. It's fun for about the first 10 laps, and then, well, you've got to dig deep to find things to say. Okay, so we are waiting for one car. Confirmation on who that is. We're waiting on Welsh. I believe that is an AlphaTauri driver, if I'm not mistaken. As soon as he gets in the lobby, we will get going. There we go. What do you guys make of it? 35%. Who's going to get it right? Who's going to get it wrong? He's going to take this second opportunity and use it to the fullest. So it seems like we were waiting on Welsh. He did not join in time. So now we go back to the pit lane. We await the start of the race. Same as the first time round, guys will be doing touch-ups to the strategy, deciding on fuel levels. And if it's anything like the first time round, maybe you should underfuel a little. But if that goes wrong, don't blame me. Imagine an F1 driver taking advice from David Croft. It's 5 red lights and we go again, and it seems like we're going to start in the order we were in when the crash happened, and immediately trouble at turn 1. We've got an Alfa Romeo going right off the track. Well, we've got all sorts of things happening. What is going on? Not gonna comment too much until I know what that was. Was that just the internet? Is everybody through? No, it's not just the internet. We've got a safety car on lap 1 of 25. More of the same. And what is going on this Wednesday night? F124 just around the corner. Maybe EA saying let's just break the other one good. Make sure everybody is waiting for F124 in anticipation. Run the safety car. The McLarens lead the field. Essa and Cyber. Remember Cyber in the first race, his race went a little lopsided as he lost control of that car when he was kicked from the lobby. Guy's car fell down a few positions. He was saved by a safety car. Could have fallen to the back of the field. Started getting his way up through the field, and then we had another safety car, and then we had whatever that was. But this time round he's been able to get himself up into P2 very quickly. He's just behind his teammate. Be interesting to see what those McLarens do at the restart. Obviously, the race just started, and then we had all of that, so we didn't even have a chance to look at the tyres. We're having a look at the tyres for the first time. It seems like everyone in the field has chosen the medium, including the two cars that have retired from this race. They also started on the medium, but unfortunately they didn't get very far with it. So that means Welsh did not join the session, so we were down from 13 drivers to 12. And now we've immediately lost 2 drivers, so we're down to 10. That means get your car to the end of the race and you will score points. Gonna have another lap of this. We've got a Ferrari at the back of the field catching up. Wish we had had a better view of that incident, because it was something big. It was really messy. So many car parts flying across the circuit, really difficult to tell. And then our limited camera angles not really helping either. Come on F1, give us more than 2 camera angles. Am I right? It's 2 camera angles? Yes. Broadcast and it's TV pod. That's what you get. 2 camera angles. It's often a part of the game that gets completely neglected. Most of you only spend time in the cockpit. You only spend time racing. So you don't really notice the so-called spectator mode. But for somebody who spends time in both, I can tell you that spectator mode is pretty much the same since the F1 2018 game. I think the only addition I can think of was in 2021. You could do this. You go to a penalty screen and it tells you what the penalty is. Before that, oh wow, I don't even know what to say. We didn't even get to say, and it's a restart, because it's not a restart. We've got a McLaren straight into the wall at the restart, and it briefly said safety car on our screens, but now it's disappeared. Or has it? Well, I'm not sure what's happening, folks. Is this just the internet playing tricks on us? What is going on? Well, this is a difficult one to commentate on. It's becoming a bit of a comedy. It did look suspect, because Cyber and Andres, those incidents looked incredibly similar on 2 different parts of the racetrack. Very odd. At the restart we had a safety car on lap 1. Drove around the safety car for a little bit. And when we were supposed to get a restart, we had a McLaren flying into the wall of champions. It activated another safety car. And that's where we are now. We're down to 8 runners. Everyone who finishes this race is going to get a good handful of points. Down to just 8 runners. What a race it's been. If I'm not mistaken, in 1993 at Kyalami, 26 cars started the race, and I believe 7 finished. And unfortunately for the man in P7, back in the 90s, you didn't get any points for P7. It went down to P6, and P6 wasn't much of an impressive points haul. P6 was good enough for 1 point. It's a little harsh, don't you think? Only the top 6 score points in a field of 26. That was a very different era of Formula 1. And at the time, Kyalami was the opening round on the calendar, which meant with reliability not being what it is today, you would often see the first race of the season be the race with the most retirements, because engines would simply blow up, car parts would occasionally fly off. That first race was really a test, and sometimes you'd see all sorts of drama. What made it worse in '93 was, I'd say probably half the field had retired, and then in the very final stint of the race, probably 5 or 6 laps to go, Joburg thunderstorm, out of nowhere. The track was soaked in minutes, and then even more cars retired. People just started sliding off, trying to finish the race on slicks. It was all sorts of havoc. 7 cars finished the race, 3 of which were on the lead lap. People say F1 is boring today, and it's not exciting. Well, imagine that. 7 car field, 3 cars on the lead lap. Those 3 cars were Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna, and a name you don't hear too often, Mark Blundell. Definitely the 2 most confusing teammates I've ever come across. 2 teammates driving for Ligier. One is Mark Blundell, and the other one is Martin Brundle, and they're both British, and it's just confusing. Go to the leader. This is Maggot. The internet doing all sorts of things, camera jumping all over the place, and hopefully that is not what the other drivers are seeing. So difficult to race when you don't know where that driver in front of you is. You start seeing cars jumping in your mirrors, cars jumping in front of you, and it really takes the confidence away. Got to approach with caution. But Maggot, well, what a night he's having. Initially he went quickest in qualifying, and he was rewarded with a disqualification. Went to the back of the field, started the race, did a good job, made up a lot of positions. Then that race went, well, we all know how that race went. It broke. Then we start a new race. Maggot finds himself at the front, and now he finds himself with a drive-through penalty. This game just does not like the Alpine driver today. He goes around for another lap. Remember, that's a drive-through penalty. It's not a 5-second pit penalty where they can do it at a pit stop or add it at the end of the race. That's a drive-through. You've got so many laps where you need to do it. I believe it's 3 laps. But he has chosen to go around again. But surely at the end of this lap, he's going to have to peel off into the pits, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt so early after a safety car. Means that whole field is still very close together. Nobody's really been able to break away to any major extent. It means the drive-through put you all the way back in P8. Well, that is last place. P8 doesn't actually sound that bad. Just don't tell anyone you finished in last. They ask you how you did. I finished in P8. Musa, he is now in P1 because Maggot jumps into the pits for that drive-through. I predicted he may come out all the way in P8, but seems like Rakwa has really fallen off. But there goes Rakwa. So Maggot will emerge from the pits in P8. And what hurts the most about a drive-through is you can't really do anything with it. You can't change the rubber. You can't decide, okay, I'm going to switch the tires. You simply have to drive through, use the same old tires, and do it all over again. Luckily for him, he's not too far behind the Alfa Romeo we can see from the helicopter cam. And he's actually gone past that Alfa Romeo without much of a fight. He's now up into P7. But so much work to do if he wants to get himself back to the top. Rakwa in P8, he's the only man on the hard compound, everyone else on the medium, and it's the tyre they started with. Oh yes, Rakwa must have started on the medium and put under one of those safety cars. We've lost another one. Folks, we've lost another one. What is going on? And is that a Ferrari? Well, a Ferrari disappeared. What is going on? Moller out of this race. And the retirements continue. We're down to just 7 drivers. And folks, usually on this channel I ask you guys for predictions, podium predictions, fastest lap predictions, pole predictions, that sort of thing. Today I'm going to ask you something different. I'm going to ask you for a prediction. How many cars are going to cross the finish line? Hopefully enough to make up a podium. What happens if you finish with 2 drivers? That would be quite interesting. You have to go I suppose you have to go find the very last DNF and put him on the podium. I'm actually surprised. I've still got quite a few viewers here. Thought it would be a crazy race. People would log off or get off in frustration, but either people are enjoying it or they just as shell-shocked as I am. What a night it's been. We had a qualifying session that gave out a weird penalty. That meant Maggot got disqualified from the session. That was the first weird thing that happened this evening. Then once we got into the race rather, we had a few safety cars in very close amount of time. And then the lobby completely crashed. We started a new one. And what a start to the race it's been. We're down to 7 cars. It's lap 11 of 25. No, don't just laugh. Give me a prediction. Give me a number. How many? We're going to finish with these 7 or we're going to get even worse? We're going to go down to 5. That would be interesting. I'm not going to give a prediction. I'm the commentator. The commentator's curse is the thing. So you guys give a prediction. Finishing this race is going to be good points. Just get the car to the end. Something does seem to be amiss. I have to keep my eyes on the screen, and every now and then I look at the comment section and I don't have the opportunity to go look on Discord what some of these retired drivers may be saying to each other, maybe get some hints about what's happening in this lobby. For now, we just have to go with what's happening on screen. And what's happening on screen is we've had a lot of retirements, we've had a lot of laps behind the safety car. And for these 7 drivers, they'll be starting to think, will I be able to make it? There's been more drivers in the wall than you would see at a typical Monaco race. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve definitely throwing up some surprises tonight. Safety car will be in at the end of this lap. That 2 Alpines. Remember, they were right at the back of the grid in that first race. Now they're P3 and P4. Maggot was aggressively weaving not so long ago. Now we've got a Haas weaving. Body doing what they can to get temperature into the tires, temperature into the brakes before you get to turn 1. Looked like for a second it was 2 Mercedes leading the race, but that's not a Mercedes, that's an Aston Martin. Well, it's an Aston Martin Mercedes. He's followed by another Mercedes. That's Chums. Then we've got Acid Milk P3, Maggot P4. He's had an up and down night, hasn't he? Wouldn't it be funny if he came through this and actually won? That would be the biggest night of ups and downs he'd have in a long time, I'm certain. Essa, he was actually at the front of the grid not so long ago. He finds himself in P7 and he's on a set of softs. Wonder how far he's going to go on those set of softs. Still a long way to go in this race. He's expecting another safety car possibly. Skull still out on track on a set of mediums that are 12 laps old, and this may play against him slightly. Here in Canada you're going to lose somewhere between 18 and 20 seconds when you make a pit stop, and that means in this current position Skull would come out in P7 right at the rear of the field. We have a car in the pits. It's Essa. Remember, he came out on the soft tire. Now, is that a new set of softs? Yes, that's another set of softs and a new front wing for the McLaren driver. He gets back underway. At least he just lost a wing and not a wheel, like his teammate, like Andres, like Moller. All of those cars losing their wheel to a barrier under very strange circumstances. As for those first 2 retirements, we didn't see him. Skull leads the way, stays out for another lap. It's going to be 14 laps on those mediums. I think I know what he's doing. I think he's hoping for a safety car. I think it's too late. He's starting to fall down the field. The Alpine has got through. That is Maggot. We said it would be funny if he got to the front and won this race. Well, he's done the first part of that statement. He's got to the front. Now will he be able to hold everything together and get to the end of the race? Don't block any pit lanes, don't block any drivers. Just get on with it. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's 1.2 seconds up the road already. Now Chum's in the Mercedes. He's going to want to get past Skull. Skull on those aging mediums. He will be holding up those drivers. Chums has got hards, but they're only 4 laps old, so those are going to be the tyres with the superior grip. If you can just line the car up right, you could get him on the exit here. It's going to be awfully close. Is he going to pass him on the straight, or is he going to try and outbrake him into the chicane? Maggot out front. The gap continues to grow, another 2/10, 1.4 seconds. Chum's P2. We've got another one, folks. Hopefully it stays at a caution. But we've had another retirement, and this time around it's another Ferrari powered car. It's a Raqqa. We have no safety car. Hopefully, I think that might mean we're over the limit of safety cars. I didn't get any. I didn't get any guesses on the how many cars. If you were gonna guess 7, well, you were wrong. We're down to 6. How many times do you see a race where finishing in the top 5 could possibly mean you're in last place? Again, if anyone asks where you finished in the top 5. You never mentioned there was only 5 cars there. With whatever's happening out on track, I can tell you everyone that is still out there doing a great job to dodge the elements that everyone else has fallen to. Ooh, we've got cars off the circuit. It's an Alpine, it's Maggot. He was leading the race. We saw Chums going to the lead, and I think it's happening again, folks. It's happening again. I don't think we're going to get another lobby. We'll stay with you guys for another few minutes just to see what's happening. But tonight, F123. Well, okay. I am a little confused. I'm going to switch off my mic for a second, so I can just try and figure out what's going on. I hope you stay with us. I will be back. Thanks for waiting patiently, but at this time, don't know what's going on. So not much in the Discord chat for me to make any sense of. So I don't know if the problem is on my side. I don't know if the problem is on the side of the game. But I think as far as the stream goes, it's as far as we're going to be able to go tonight. This has happened once before where I got disconnected from a lobby, but the race was still happening. So I don't know if the race is still happening. If anyone in the comment section does have contact with the driver and the race is happening and I'm just out the lobby, let me know. Or if the lobby has crashed, let me know. And we're back. Apologies for that. Not only are the drivers having issues, we're having issues in the comms box. This has been an interesting evening. And when you look at that, while we were out the comms box, we lost another driver. We're down to 5. Maggot leads the way by a very far distance, 3.3 seconds. Then Acid Milk P3, 2.5 seconds away. So the top 3 very spread out. Then the next 2 are even further away. Skull P4, 10 seconds down the road. And then Essa in P5, another 18 seconds down the road with a penalty next to his name. Look at some of those positions. Maggot has made up 2 positions since the start of the race. Chums has made up 8. Good race for him. Then Acid Milk 4, Skull 5. So everyone there in those top 4 positions, they've had a great race. They've been lucky. They've come through the field while everyone else has had all sorts of horrors on circuit. As for the tyres, Maggot, Chums, Acid Milk, your top 3, they're all on hards. The 2 cars further back, Skull and Essa, they're on the soft compound. Those 2 soft runners are, well, they're nowhere near anyone else. I think we have crossed that limit of safety cars, so we're not going to see any more of that. Just 2 laps to go. Maggot leads the way. If he's able to hold everything together, don't want to speak too soon. All sorts of things have happened. Chums P2, Acid Milk. You may get a podium out of this. Skull P4. And well, this is going to be an interesting read on Discord. I'm sure there's going to be a few laughs, a few frustrations. But every now and then you've just got to sit back and have a laugh. Look at that, we've got a caution. I said we can't have any more safety cars because it's too late. So that car will simply disappear from the track. But folks, we've lost the McLaren. We're down to 4 cars. Maggot leads the way from Chums, Acid Milk P3, and Skull the only car in this race not on the podium. I'm just loving saying all these things I'll never get an opportunity to say again. Skull, the only driver in the race not on the podium. That sounds weird. Moller out front. Chums P2. Acid Milk just wants to get that car home. Get that podium. Nothing to worry about for the time being. Skull is behind him on softs, but that gap 6.5 seconds. Death Queen, covering your eyes emoji. That's exactly what this situation needs. How many times can you say a certain driver is the only driver in the race not to be on a podium. Okay, I did say 2, but that's just because I want to see what happens. It'd be quite funny if there was just no one standing on the 3rd step. Stay with your leader. Lap 25 of 25 of what has been one of the most eventful races I have commentated on for a very long time. And that's not because of the quality of racing, not on this occasion. SAFRL, they're known for their quality of racing, but tonight it's been a comedy. Maggot is gonna go over the line, take the victory, 25 points on the night. Chums will go over the line now 2nd, then Acid Milk, and then 4 seconds adrift. Skull makes up your, what do you call it, your top 4, your field. I suppose it's the field. Driver in 4th place makes up your field. Chums driver of the day. I think if you survived that race, everyone that survived that race should have got driver of the day. So there are the 3 men on the podium. Poor Skull probably standing at the bottom of the steps going, this is ridiculous. Here's your official results. Maggot wins the race by quite a distance in the end, 5 seconds, then Chums P2, Acid Milk P3, and Skull in P4. No point for Fastest Lap, because Fastest Lap went to Essa and he did not finish the race. Got a very long DNF column, don't know if I'm going to get through it. DNF column goes as follows: Essa, Tidy Boy, Rockwell, Moller, Andries, Cyber, Spikes, and the one that started it all, the toy. Wow, what can I say? That's been an extremely interesting race. We've had, well, across on this channel, across the many leagues we broadcast, we've had races where we've seen bad racing. We've seen races where we've seen extremely good racing. But tonight, well, tonight can only be described as quite funny from a commentator's perspective. If I were a driver, I would not be too impressed. As for all our viewers, we actually had a good view count this evening, considering what was happening on screen. So I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Reminder, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And like I said in the break, we have been trying to upload some F1 related content, not related to the league. And if you'd like to have a look at some of those videos, hang around the channel. Maybe visit it tomorrow when you're supposed to be at work. I'll see you all again for tomorrow for DRS. That is going to be the round 12, the finale of season 9, and that's going to be in Silverstone. So join me tomorrow night, same time, 8 o'clock. Hopefully we won't finish at 10 like tonight, and hopefully I'll see you all there. If I don't see you in the comment section, hopefully I'll see you out on track. Thanks everyone, until next time, cheers.